Hello folks, Andy Bell here from the Spirit of 2016 podcast, coming to you with a quick reaction video today to the announcement of the Northern Ireland squad for the qualifiers against Lithuania and Switzerland, and also the friendly against Estonia. And the big news is that Jonny Evans is in the squad. That's what we've been keeping an eye on pretty much all summer. Brendan Rodgers' quotes over the last couple of weeks have been worrying, to say the least. But he is in there, and who knows how much of a part he's going to play, whether it's just going to be that last Switzerland game, whether he's even 50-50 for that. We don't know. I'm recording this right after the squad's been announced, so I think Ian Barraclough's doing a press conference right now. So if he has given any more information on that, I do apologise, but I'm just going off what I know and what's been announced with the squad. So, yeah, Jonny Evans is in. Kieran Brown and Corey Evans were also carrying injuries. Their diagnoses were supposed to go up to sort of the start of the international break. So good to see them in as well. There was a bit of doubt over them. No Liam Boyce and no Kyle Lafferty. Now, Liam Boyce, it is noted on the Northern Ireland website, is out because of family reasons. And Kyle Lafferty, it just says he hasn't been included in the panel. So I'm not sure if that's anything to do with travelling from Cyprus. I think Cyprus is on the amber list as far as I know, or whether it's just the fact that he's playing in a different league. Connor Bradley's in as well, and he's listed as a midfielder. But listen, I'm going to go through all that in a little bit more detail in just a minute, but I'm going to run through the squad first. So he's picked 25 players. It's interesting, he usually goes with 26, which maybe gives us a bit of an indication as to where some certain players who've been left out are at, given the fact that, in theory, from what we know, Barraclough likes to pick, there is an extra space in that squad. So here's the squad he's announced today. Peacock Farrell, Trevor Carson, Connor Hazard, Jonny Evans, Cathcart, Dallas, Lewis, Ballard, Brown, Smith, Ferguson, Connor Bradley, Paddy McNair, Steve Davis, Ali McCann, George Saville, Jordan Thompson, Corey Evans, Jordan Jones, Gavin White and Niall McGinn. And then the four strikers of Josh McGuinness, Connor Washington, Shane Lavery and Dion Charles. So that is the 25 that Ian Barraclough has picked. So yeah, Jonny Evans, first of all, I mean, what can you say? Let's just keep our fingers crossed that he is in a good place. We know he's pretty much struggled with injuries throughout the last year. There have been a lot of instances where Leicester have rushed him back in, or even Northern Ireland have rushed him back in to get him in for a squad. I know he was a doubt for both the games against Bosnia and Slovakia. I specifically remember searching his name on Twitter every day to see that he was going to play in those games. And listen, you can, if you watched Leicester City last night, you can see exactly why they keep rushing him back in. So in my head, he's had a good he would have had a good pre-season, would have had time to kind of nurse the injuries and get his body completely right. But I don't even think he's been out on the pitch training with the side yet. He's been doing a lot of work in the gym, and I think he's maybe involved in some light training, but I don't think he's anywhere near back to full fitness, according to Brendan Rodgers, who kind of consistently said over the last couple of weeks that he wants to see Jonny Evans come back after the international break. But obviously there have been some conversations there, and listen, you do have to keep these club sides sweet at the end of the day. We can bang on about country over club all we like. At the end of the day, they pay his wages, and if they don't want him to go, they can put the foot down, as we've seen, for example, with Liverpool. I've said Mo Salah's not travelling to Egypt, and some of the Brazilian players as well in the Premier League. The clubs ultimately do have the power here, whether we like it or not. So for me, I've always said, if you've listened to these roundups, weekly roundups I've been doing over the summer, I've said just do any sort of deal whereby he doesn't play Lithuania or Estonia, and we just try and get him for Switzerland by hook or by crook. And I think I would be surprised if that's not what we see there. So let's see in that one. But good news that he's involved. I know a lot of people didn't think he would be. I did think he would be, just on the off chance he can play that Switzerland game. And let's hope he's more likely to play it than what we know. So Connor Bradley, yeah, I'll stick with the inclusions. Maybe slight surprise inclusion. I mean, given that Ethan Galbraith and Alfie McCalmont, and I know they're different positions, obviously they're midfielders, central midfielders, but Connor Bradley involved, despite them both playing in League One, kind of the youngsters who we're most excited about to come through, it probably would be those three. They've been left out. They'll probably be with the under-21s, but Connor Bradley is included, despite kind of still being at Liverpool, still playing in the under-23s. We don't know if he's going to get some games in, for example, the EFL Cup this season. We know Jurgen Klopp has a specific disdain for those competitions. And we know he rates Connor Bradley as well, so he may throw him in, and he would be the first Northern Ireland international under the name Northern Ireland. There's been a bit of debate about that, who would be play a full competitive game for Liverpool. So he's listed as a midfielder now. If anyone listened to our Malta preview, Josh Sexton on from the Anfield Wrap, and he was talking about how he was signed for Liverpool as a right winger. I kind of asked him the question about whether he thinks Bradley's more attacking right back, or is he more somebody who could maybe become a centre back in the future. We know that fullbacks can make that transition, and he said he was bought as a right winger. He is a more attacking player, albeit he is very strong at the back as well. He is more naturally an attacking player. So who knows if that's another option on the in the wide areas. We know that Northern Ireland are really struggling in those areas at the minute. We've got Jordan Jones, Gavin White and Niall McGinn named in the squad. Two of them are playing in League One and one is at Aberdeen. Obviously Niall McGinn, he's 34 now. He's not going to be around the squad too much longer. And that has been a big part of probably why we've gone to 3-5-2 in certain games, including the fact that, we've got a lot of good centre halves coming through. McNair can play there, Ballard, as well as Jonny Evans, Cathcart and Brown. And it seems to suit us just to play two up front. But if we do want to go to a 4-3-3 like we saw, for example, for the last 10 minutes against USA and for a bit of the Bulgaria game as well, then we could see Conor Bradley used, probably in that Estonia game. You would say he might get a run out there. He's not going to play the qualifiers, I don't think, but in the future, could he be seen as a wide option for us? Who knows? They've had more of a look at him certainly than I have. In terms of the omissions, then, no Liam Boyce for family reasons. I think that's a bit of a blow, to be honest. I would probably have had him in that too, with either one of Lavery, Washington or White, somebody kind of big man, little man, somebody to hold the ball up, somebody with a little bit of pace in behind, probably Shane Lavery, I would say, but I'm not going to really go into that now. We're going to do some podcasts around the games where we'll obviously name our teams and this, that and the other. But yeah, Liam Boyce side, I think that's a blow. Obviously he missed the games in March as well. And Kyle Lafferty is an interesting one. I remember specifically when he went to that Norwegian team, Sarpsborg, Michael O'Neill left him out of his squad. He actually ended up calling him in because of an injury, but he did leave him out because worries about the level he's playing at. So I don't really know where the Cypriot League is at in relation to, for example, a League One. But, he's playing in Europe. He's playing tonight against Hapoel Beersheva of Israel. So could still be playing against some decent teams. I've just seen a tweet there from Northern Ireland. Ian Bartow discusses Lafferty's and Boyce's absences, so do go and have a look at that. It's probably all explained there, but I'm only going off what I know. In terms of some other omissions then, just some names that have kind of been in and around the squad, not necessarily surprises, but names that have been in and around the squad that have been left out. Michael McGovern apparently is injured, so the keepers are Peacock Farrell, Hazard and Trevor Carson. Probably there will be a transition towards getting Hazard into these squads more regularly. It's been Peacock Farrell, Carson and McGovern when they've been fit. Obviously Carson and McGovern are getting on a little bit now. McGovern's not playing games at all. Trevor Carson made his first Dundee United appearance on Saturday there, so hopefully he stays in the team. But Conor Hazard signed a 3-year contract to Celtic. He's done fairly well when he's come in for Northern Ireland, and he is a younger option, and we do need to kind of make that transition, towards that. So no surprise for me to see Hazard in there, even though it is due to a McGovern injury. I think maybe Hazard would have been in anyway over one of the two. Matty Kennedy, not really playing at Aberdeen. Rumours of a loan to St Mirren. He's left out. Paul Smith. Conor McLaughlin doesn't have a club at the minute. Tom Flanagan, not a huge surprise there, but he actually has done quite well for Sunderland in the opening games. Carl Winchester is one that a lot of people were thinking about as well, and I'll kind of tie McCalmont and Galbraith into that, because they're all three centre midfielders playing in League One, and I can understand the clamour for it. I know Winchester's played very well this season for Sunderland, mainly as an auxiliary right back. I know there's so much excitement over Galbraith and McCalmont as well, playing in League One as young players. But the question I always ask people when they suggest his name to me, as they should have been in the squad, for who? You've got there Davis, McNair, George Saville. I know people don't like George Saville, but he's a championship midfielder. He's going to be in the squad. Ali McCann, Corey Evans, captain in a League One side at the top of their game, been around the squad for ages. Maybe they could have come in for him, especially with the injury. And Jordan Thompson there, who's playing every other week at the top end of the championship, has waited very patiently for his move. So I understand the excitement of a new name in the squad and kind of seeing a new face. But ultimately, that's not really what Ian Barclough's job is. He has to pick a squad, keep people happy, and ultimately those are the players playing at the highest level for me. So I have no problem with the likes of Galbraith and McCalmont waiting for their opportunity. Carl Winchester's 29. He hasn't been in the squad for 8 years. I understand he started very well, but you need to do a little bit more than that for me to force your way into this squad over those players. Anyway, that's enough for me, folks. Hope you enjoyed that little reaction video. Do stay tuned. We're recording the pre-Lithuania podcast next Saturday. We're doing that in person, so it won't be on YouTube. So if you only know us through YouTube, do get onto SoundCloud, Spotify, or iTunes, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast. Wherever you listen to them, subscribe to us there, follow us, whatever platform you're on, so you know when those podcasts are coming out. As I say, that one won't be on YouTube, but the post-Lithuania and the post-Switzerland are probably just going to be done over Zoom. So I will try and get them out on the YouTube channel as well. So do subscribe to that if you haven't already. And the last thing is just do follow us on Twitter. All the news on there, kind of reactions, updates. I always ask for thoughts for the podcast after the games. Everyone loves getting involved, especially when we don't win. So do follow us on there. That's at Spirit of 2016 Pod. We're nearly at 800 followers there, which is amazing. Goal for the year is 1,000, and I think we're well on course to hitting that. So thank you all for the support as ever. Stay tuned for the podcasts. As I say, that we're recording it on Saturday afternoon. Probably about 5 players will get injured and leave it completely redundant. But that'll probably be out Tuesday night, just 2 days before the games, when I normally like to release those. So thank you very much for the support as ever, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and you'll hear from us again very soon. Bye-bye.